And then the Rice County Farm Family of the Year. John Dvorak is back up with me. John, I think this is an award that the Rice County Fair Board began last year, recognize special friends that are helping and promoting the Rice County Fair.
That's right, Jerry. There's a lot of individuals that are behind the scenes that make a lot of things happen. They help the Fair Board out a great deal. They help me out tremendously. Certain individuals. It's individuals that I can go to and ask for advice and what their opinion is, and they're always willing to help out. So last year, there was a few of us that decided, you know, it's time that we start recognizing some of these people and you know, bringing forward, you know, the commitment that they make to help and put on this program at the fair and the fair. Last year, we were pleased to offer that award to David Isaacson. And David, as many of you know, was a big supporter and is a big supporter of agriculture in Rice County, and so always helping out and making sure that things are happening, and so he was very deserving of it, and so it was a tradition. We figured, okay, let's keep it going. So this year, I have an individual that we discussed and we agreed on, and he's a big part of program started, and he was a big program that got the program going, and he was behind it. And so this year, if Art Matson would come up here, please.
Yes, you wouldn't believe. I'm not the sneakiest guy. Well, John and I, and of course the Fair Board, knew about it, so we were trying to get Art's wife, Judy, here. She's down at the sheep show, and we were trying to get a hold of Judy without Art knowing it. Apparently, I'm not a sneaky enough guy, but
I did notice behind was used presentation. Thank you, John. Certainly a very nice recognition. I am surprised and delighted to receive that. But, you know, as I look out at the crowd here today, I certainly see a lot of people that are more deserving than I am. So it's very humbling to receive this. And, John, thank you, and thank you to the Fair Board. You have a great fair here, and I appreciate helping out in the little ways that I do.
Thank you, Art. Let's give a big hand to Art, because Art is a tremendous
well, Art and John were over there having a picture taken. We'll recognize the Rice County Farm Family of the Year. And then when Art's done with that, then we will get to the Hall of Fame. Claire, come on back up here. Let's talk a little bit about the Trinka, Stephen and Elaine. Great choice for the Rice County Farm Family of the Year.
Yeah, could Stephen and Elaine come up here, please? Where did you go? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, let's give him a round of applause. All right, Stephen and Elaine Trinka join over 3 decades of farm families throughout Minnesota, which have been recognized by University of Minnesota Extension for making significant contributions to agriculture and to their local communities. The Trinkas were selected for Farm Family of the Year by the Rice County Extension Committee for their contributions to Minnesota agriculture. The Trinkas purchased their farm in 1978 with the help of Steve's parents. They ran a farrow-to-finish hog operation and raised crops. Steve and Elaine partnered with Steve's parents until his parents sold their share of the hogs and eventually rented the land to Steve and Elaine. Now the majority of the farm is in crop production. The hogs in 2008, but still raise a few for 4-H and direct market. They have 3 sons, Eric, Jeff, and Greg, all of whom help on the farm when they're able. And we have a granddaughter too. Within their row crop production, the Trinkas implement various conservation practices, which also earned them the title of Rice County's Outstanding Conservationist of the Year in 2016. Through the use of sediment control basins, grass waterways, cover crops, and reduced tillage, the Trinkas protect the land while still producing commodity crops, which is commendable. Along with protecting natural resources, they have also served their community through their participation in the 4-H Swine Project Development Committee and through serving on their township board, church board, the Rice County Pork Producers Board, and the South Central Technical College Ag Advisory Board. For their commitment to supporting and enhancing agriculture in the state of Minnesota, Rice County Extension and the University of Minnesota are proud to recognize the Trinket family as the 2017 Farm Family of the Year. Let's give them another round of applause.
Why don't you head on over, get your pictures taken. Steve, Elaine, if you'd like to roll out that granddaughter, you ever need a babysitter, just let me know. I'm not a grandpa yet, I'm jealous. The Trinkles will also be recognized the final afternoon at Farm Fest here in early August. Of the, how many counties are there in Minnesota? 87, 97, 87. There's usually about 60 to 70 counties represented for that program at Farm Fest. And all the farm families that are able to get there will then be recognized at Farm Fest too, which is kind of cool, but it's great. These farm families in their home county at events like this. All right, the final thing left, our time to continue to earn that nice plaque and clock that the Rice County Fair Board gave you. The Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame, the best of the best anniversary. 10 years ago when you started this, you weren't quite as gray as you are now.
That's what a career in egg lending will do to you, Jerry.
But I'm one of the lenders for the, never mind, let's move on.
Well, we want to thank everyone on behalf of the February Chamber of Commerce and the Rice County Fair for coming out to our 10-year reunion. We kind of visited at the Chamber a little bit about this last winter and thought that it might be a good idea to get people together to say thanks once again to the great contributors to agriculture here in Rice County. And what we're going to do at this time is I'm going to go through the roll of the 10 years worth of recipients of the Ag Hall of Fame. We're going to ask you to stand in place, and after we go through a couple of years of winners, we'll do a round of applause and move on. Started out in 2008. We had 4 inducted that year. One of the really great soil conservation people in the state of Minnesota, Mr. Lincoln Paulson. Is there anyone here from Lincoln's family? I don't think there is today. Also in that year, Warren Liebenstein, County Extension Director here in Rice County, a quiet agricultural leader who knew more about agriculture than any man I've ever known. We got a lot of Liebensteins here that stand up, the whole Liebenstein crew. Also in 2008, from KDHL, the great farm director, Dean Curtis. We've got some Dean Curtis family members here. Stand, if you will, please. And also in 2008, Darrell Haig, a great co-op leader from Morristown. Bonnie Haig is here, along with some of those beautiful Haig girls that were all Miss Morristown, Miss Dandays, whatever they call it. Looking just as good as they always did. Thank you, Bonnie. 2009, we had Paul Day. I'm not sure if we've got a Paul Day representative here. Paul was a very instrumental person in ag education here in the state of Minnesota. In 2010, we had a trio of great ones. Burton Peterson. We've got Burton's family here. A nationally known hog producer was also inducted that year. Ben Bartusik and his lovely wife Jean are here. Ben. And in 2010, we also inducted Mary Donkers. I saw Paul was here. Paul, are you still here in TR? Please stand up so we can. Thank you. Very good. Very good. 2011, Don Morgan. I know we've got some Morgans here. Also, in 2011, another soil conservation person, Wally Hildebrandt. I know Wally's wife is here and son Kevin. There we go. Was also inducted that year. Clarence is not here, but we've got members of the Perfects family. Please stand. It was a big year for the Ag Hall of Fame here in Rice County. We had 4 inductees, 4 really great ones. Dick Langsley, Dick and Mary Ann are here. Dick, great pork producer. Ed Drewitz, one of the great brown Swiss breeders in the United States, a world-renowned dairy judge. I know Steve is here, some other family members. Willard Easter, one of those great dairy farmers north of Nurstrand. I know we've got some of the Nurstrand crew here. Wave your hand, don't be bashful. Thank you. Eugene Schroeder, did Carol make it? Was going to try and make it. Gene Schroeder. Great horseman up in the Northfield, Dundas area, also very involved in agricultural groups. A.J. Lashbrook, did Helen Olson come? Helen was going to try to come. Helen is not here today. A.J. was a world-renowned Holstein breeder in Northfield, Minnesota. The majority of the Holstein cattle in America today date to or are related to his herd. 2014, Gary Hansen. We've got some Hansens here. 2015, there was free breakfast, so you know Doug Wordish is here.
Way to go, somebody else got picked on besides me.
I saw Peggy Olson, and I didn't have a chance to say good morning to Milt. Milt, good morning, stand up, Milt and Peggy. There they are right up front. Come on, Peggy. All right. Very good. And at this point in time, we'll move into our 2017 Ag Hall of Fame recipients. I'm going to invite up here Artis Liebenstein, who nominated the Brobergs. And she's going to introduce the family, and then we'll make the presentation of the plaque. I also want to say a big thank you to Marianne Langsley for helping us round up information on Waldo Broberg. Thank you, Marianne. You're the best.
Thanks, everyone. You know, at my age, I know a lot of it. I'm very happy today to be here. And his son, who we'll meet later, if he just put a little stub of a cigar in the corner of his mouth, he would be the same. Okay. Now, Waldo was a very kind, agricultural-minded person. He grew up in Laconia, and he moved here in 1938, and he worked for about 20 years. He worked for a farm service elevator for 10 years, and then in 1938, he started his own store on First Street in Faribault. I liked his advertisement. It read, Waldo Broberg Feed and Seed, buy eggs and poultry. He bought all our eggs, by the way. Poultry equipment and remedies, packs, hog equipment, King's egg seed, corn, feed seeds, fertilizers. You call, we deliver. Your friendly home food store. And he retired in 1979, but still remained active in the community. And those of you who were in 4-H in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, remember at Rally Day, junior high auditorium was filled with capacity for Rally Day, for the big banquet and share the fun. You always had Waldo Broberg and Les Swanberg up there telling stories and leading and singing. And he had a special little whistle that he could do too. He loved singing. He was in quartets in Faribault. He was with the Rice County Agricultural Society Board. He was the, treasurer of the Rice County Fair from 1937 until the late 70s or 80s. I'll get there. Let's see. He is a member of the Lions Club Agricultural Committee. And then, are we in a hurry? Okay.
If we do get in a hurry, and John, just ignore John, my producer over there. We just go on, and then they won't cut us off. We're more important than they are.
In the community, he's a member of the Lions Club, Chamber of Commerce, Faribault Public School Board for 17 years, and a number of years as chairman. The Sonic Lodge, First Congregational Church, and he sang in the barbershop, which in the group called What's Fours, and they often have a leading singer in the Central Park. He was a very humble, compassionate man, showing great respect for others, and a true friend in every sense of the word. My husband's true friends to the very end. He had a ready smile for all. He was certainly a people person. He was a fun-loving person, but he could be serious about the work he had to do. But he was a true promoter of agriculture. Now, do I get to introduce him?
Why don't the family? Why don't you come on up here? Don't be shy. Not everybody can be shy like I am.
He has to have a cigar hanging out of his mouth. Yeah, they had two sons. They grew up on the east side of Faribault, and I mix you two up. But one of you lives in Waseca. That's you. And one in the New Brighton. Okay. They have their wives here, and they have a grandson. And I think he said that his dad was the best looking one of the two. So we have this whole family.
Who would like to be the spokesman for the family? Well, I'm Ted. This is Carl Richard William. We really appreciate this recognition and the hard work that artists and art and others put together to put into do the nomination. Dad was a real fan of Faribault, and Rice County and the agricultural community, and I think this is really a wonderful and fitting honor for we want to thank the Rice County Farm Bureau and Groskreutz Agri Center and Rice County Fair Board, which Dad was involved in all those, and so and Katie Jeff, yes, right. So thank you very much. Sure. So we heard about this guy. This is Eric, our son, my wife Jo, our oldest daughter Krista. And then Sue, John, and Paul, and Madison and Carter. Sorry. Family, pictures.
So on behalf of the Rice County Fair, the Groskreutz Agricultural Society, and the February Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to recognize Waldo Broberg for being inducted into the Rice County Agricultural Hall of Fame, and our congratulations to you, Ted, and the entire family.
All right, family, over that way for the pictures. Artists, you can go with them too. All right, Art, we have 2 more to go.
Pam Franz, come right up here. Pam Franz, Pam and Dean Franz nominated Paul and Barb Liebenstein for this award. So we're going to have Pam give a little introduction to the Liebensteins.
Thank you, Art. Paul and Barb Liebenstein and their family, about 400 cows west of Dundas. I've had the honor and the pleasure, both Dean and I, of being able to work with Paul and Barb, both in the area industry and also in the promotion industry. The thing Paul and Barb, to me, for them and their family, there's the love of cows and the love of the land, but mostly for these two, it's about community and the people they work with. And that's why Dean and I think, both felt that they're well deserving of support.
Thank you. Paul, yeah, give him a big hand. This is kind of triple neat. This is the first time we've had a husband-wife pair that were nominated for the Ag Hall of Fame. This is the first time we've had a first-generation dairy farmer receive this award. And this is the first time we've had a father-son combo. Paul's dad, Warren, was inducted into the Ag Hall of Fame our first year 10 years ago. So we got kind of a trifecta going on here, and certainly it's neat to recognize the Liebensteins. It's said that you don't really know people until you work with them. And, you know, I worked with these guys a long time and really appreciate it. It makes one's job as a banker very easy when you have people like this to deal with. They're just the best of the best. We've got this nice plaque here. It says, first generation dairy farmer, started milking when he was 14 years old on his parents' farm in an old barn. Moved to a rented farm in 1979 when he graduated from high school. Mom and Dad thought that he was going to go to South Central College, but instead he rented a dairy farm and started milking cows. He moved to his present farm in 1981. He purchased the farm that he's on in 1992 and built his first modern freestall barn in 1993. Wow, it seems like yesterday. Wolf Creek Dairy milks 400 cows and has achieved over a 30,000 pound rolling herd average. They host 500 to 700 visitors each year. They've had Miss America out there, the FBI out there, and thousands. And they were for a tour, they weren't investigating. Paul's community involvement includes being the youngest farmer to serve on the Central Valley Co-op board. On the township board, he's on the rural fire board, the county extension committee, Northfield area fire rescue, and the county ADA. Involvement includes she's a Sunday school teacher on the ADA board, Midwest Dairy Corporation board, public member of the Minnesota Board of Physical Therapy, 4-H leader, Minnesota Dairy Authority for outreach, research, teaching, much, much more. She also enjoys riding horses in her leisure.
Well, we're deeply humbled by this award. And I think back, you know, none of this would be possible if along the way I didn't have some people who were willing to take a chance on a young kid who just wanted to farm. You know, with that said, it hasn't been just by ourselves all this way. You know, we've had a lot of support from our family, our neighbors, friends, and also our employees. And kind of look at it and remember that how lucky we are to get to farm. So we look at our farm as their farm too. And that's why we opened up to so many people that we do. So, thank you.
So Art will just blame you for this. For working a long time to help us get where we are. And again, thanks to everybody that makes Wolf Creek Dairy who it is. And a lot of you are here in this room, especially Grace and Mary. And
Let's give him another round. Is this not a demonstration of what's special about agriculture? Well, we have one more inductee for the class of 2017, Art. Well, family members or friends, if you'd like to jump over and get a picture, of course, go over with the Liebenstein.
Greg Baumgart, would you like to come up here? You were the one that nominated Governor Quee for this award and help us out here.
Well, thank you for this great honor. Well, I came to know Governor Al Quee. Well, I first came to know Governor Al Quee when he walked onto my parents' farm and brought his horse there to board at our place for several years. And I had to kid Dad. Dad was a staunch Democrat, and I said, "Dad, are you a Republican now, or what?" But Al, they call him Al. He was born and raised and operated a dairy farm near Denison. He started out with 28 cows and moved up to 60. He contoured farmed. He was proud of increasing the corn yields from 68 to 165 bushels through rotation, manure management over a 10-year period. He did AI. And one fact I didn't know, back in the days they were doing the nuclear tests, if you kept your cows indoors, you got a premium because of the winds coming from the west. Yeah. And Al, he served on local school boards. He was on the Rice County Soil Conservation District as a supervisor. He was chaired the Rice County Farm Bureau. On the public service path, he was in the Minnesota State Senate, a U.S. congressman for 10 years, governor from 79 to 83. He continues to do prison fellowship counseling. He's done a wealth of things for agriculture in the state, and Al, like most good men, listened to his wife when he was filling appointments when he was there. He filled all about 1/3 of the state appointee positions with women at the time, and I think you were the first one that did that. And I'd like to welcome Al to our Ag Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Rick. It's great to be here. And don't take this wrong, but it's sort of like when I go to visit the Valley Grove Cemetery. I see so many names on those stones, and they aren't here anymore. And so I recognize names of younger people, and it was your parent that I knew. And so that's really dandy to be here and have those renewed. I was flabbergasted when I got the call. Oh yeah, this thing's pretty loud if it looks. When I got the call that I was named, I just couldn't imagine, because I had been away from the farm for so long. But then I recognized that my grandfather was the first white man on the farm, came in 1856, so that's kind of a long time. And I got to be a century farmer before I left the whole operation. But the other thing I want to mention is that my dad, when I was in high school, took me around to listen to what I would call soil conservation environmentalists.
they were just like a preacher when they were preaching. This thing dying. It was okay. It's just like a preacher in their strong belief that it's the soil. It's the soil. It's the soil. That's where it all comes from. That's what you're given to use and take care of that soil, and the soil will improve if you do things right. So that's why before I ever got there, this intrigued me in soil science. And so when I flew in the Navy, I read everything on it in the Navy-based libraries. And I studied that, and I even took soil or science at St. Olaf College. They didn't have soil science. And Gretchen and I got married, and then I realized that while I hadn't finished college, that you can serve the Lord as well on a farm as you can going into the ministry. And so it was with that perspective that we went ahead with our farming and some of the things that you mentioned, Greg, that it was an amazing improvement in production. And I did it without putting commercial fertilizer. And it was by plowing under the second crop of alfalfa. The second, can you imagine plowing down your second crop of alfalfa? That's worth money, but it was more money as it fertilized the soil, provided the humus for the crops to grow. And so when you took a 68 bushel to the acre and moved it up to 165, you know, you did something right with that. But I want to mention that when I was in Congress, the one thing I did is to change the whole landscape of your farms. Driving down here from the cities today, there was hardly a grain bin. Remember how all the farms had all those grain bins? In order to get a good enough price for your grain, you had to store some of it, and they gave you a loan on it. All that grain out there, ready to be used, the price never rose. So I introduced the legislation, got it through the House, and convinced the Senate that what you ought to do is to remove it and then set the price at 90% of the world market, because we are selling in the world markets, and we could improve the price there, and the price would go up. 1973, farmers were earning more than ever earned before. And so that's what I think that I see you people working together, and that's
the places they are now. Maybe we should send them back to Congress. What do you think?
Old Buzzard, 93 years old, you wouldn't want to do that. But I'll just keep riding horseback. What I want to introduce now, my son, Dan, is up by Rockford, Minnesota, and his wife, Luann. And these are two of their grandchildren. And this is Caleb right here. And here is Blake. And up there, and they're doing real well. So that's all I got to say. Thanks for you folks coming.
A Chamber of Commerce, the Rice County Fair, and our friends at the Understrand Agricultural Center. I'd like to induct you into the Rice County Agricultural Hall of Fame. This plaque reads, Albert H. L. Quee, raised on a dairy farm near Denison, Minnesota. In the 11th grade, father's farm accident increased responsibilities. Served in World War II in the U.S. Navy as a pilot. Graduate, managed dairy herd, purchased the family farm, expanded the dairy herd from 28 cows to 60 cows, installed terraces, used AI breeding, crop rotation to improve yields. In 1978, rented out the farm prior to the governorship. Was involved in the district supervisor and Rice County Farm Bureau chairman, involved in Rice County soil and water conservation. Served in the Minnesota State Senate representing Rice County 1955 to 58. Committees included dairy products and livestock. Was in the U.S. Congress for 20 years, representing the 1st Congressional District. Governor of Minnesota from 79 to 83, and is involved in prison fellowship and counseling 1983 to present. And the finest thing I ever heard about Al Quee was he served his entire life in politics, became a politician. Congratulations, Al.
We head over there and get your pictures taken. Congratulations. A couple of quick announcements before we wrap it up. Remember, all those who were recognized, head back over there if you'd like to get your picture taken. That's what Kathy told me. Special thanks to the Faribault Chamber of Commerce and Agribusiness Committee for helping organize all this. Special thanks to Kale, who did the programs and back and forth with emails, getting everything organized. Special thanks to Doc Gilbertson and the Near Strand Agri Center. Be sure to go over to the Extension office and see that nice display here, permanent display on the Rice County Fairgrounds of all the past inductees to Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame. Also, if you are thinking of someone that should be recognized into the Hall of Fame, make sure you talk to our vets and we'd like to get them recognized next year. Also, would like to thank the sponsors so we can broadcast this program live and hopefully give other counties the idea to celebrate agriculture, something like this at their county fair.